FM, the boss. It's time to change. If you like country, we play it. If you like pop, we play it. If you like Latin music, we play it. If you like rock and roll, we play it. Because no one does fusion music like we do. 91.1 FM, the boss.
The program presented or submitted by members of our community and are a proud sponsor of KNNY 91.1 FM. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of KNNY 91.1 FM and its affiliates.
Hi, my name is Rigo Gutierrez, and I'm with Radio The Boss, and we have our program, Elections 2020. I will be interviewing our friend, Mr. Chris Powell.
Yes, sir.
He is running for the Montgomery County Democratic Party chair, and I greet you. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
How are
Thank
you?
you very much.
These elections, the first thing I'd like to ask, these elections are going to be held in
March 3rd,
March 3rd.
coming up pretty soon.
And this is directed to all the Democratic Party voters that we have in the
In Montgomery County. And we have quite a few, believe it or not. So
Do you know how many?
our numbers are pretty huge, 75,000, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm looking off camera. I apologize to my expert
No.
over here with data.
That's fine.
It's,
And how many candidates are running for this position?
there's three right now. So three of us are competing, and it's Demetria and Amy and myself.
Yes. How important is it? How long does this last? Your
It's a
term
2-year.
It's a 2-year
Yes,
term.
sir.
Yes. And you've lived in Montgomery County.
Oh gosh, I first moved out here in '88 and was hired by a local company, Compact Computer. If anybody remembers Compact,
Yes.
And
My first computer was compact.
You still have it?
Well, my first calculator was Texas Instruments.
Yeah. Before you got the HP,
Yes.
because that's who bought us.
Yes.
Yeah, Hewlett Packard bought us.
Correct.
And then recently the companies have been broken up, and now I work for Hewlett Packard Enterprise in Tomball, still in the same location up there. Yeah, I've been there 31 years.
How active? How long have you been a Democrat?
My entire life. I grew up in San Diego, California, and my mom worked with the Women's League of Voters and got us really interested early on. And since I've been a kid, I remember the George McGovern election. If you remember, I know you may remember that one. So,
No.
oh my, I am dating myself. So, I volunteered for that one. I was too young to vote. So, but anyway.
Yes, when I was young, I didn't care too much about politics. With time, when you grow, you find out that your vote is important, that who governs you is important for your everyday life.
And aren't we being affected by that now?
And I hope that young people, have the opportunity to know more about how it affects their lives. Are you focusing on the young?
Absolutely. I think the challenge that we have right now in Montgomery County, we are perceived as one of the last 3 completely red counties, is the way that our opponents describe this area. And so we have a lot of change happening here. And if you look at sort of the demographics, the number of people that are not turning out to vote is more than the people that are. So if we could just get the youth involved and really, part of the process, it would swing elections probably towards the Democrats.
I understand you have like 3 main proposals that
Yes, sir.
differentiate from the other 2 candidates.
I believe it differentiates myself. So I really have 3 main proposals. We are organized in what's called precincts, obviously, here in Texas, and we have 100 precincts. The Republicans and the Democrats are the same. It's managed by the state. But anyway, we have about 100 precincts, and we have these roles called precinct chairs. And the precinct chairs are all about, working with the local community, right? Working with their neighbors and so on. So we believe that, I believe that part 1 of this is those precinct chairs should knock on the doors of their neighbors and ask them, in this neighborhood, what is it that is affecting us? Do we need a new speed bump down on the corner? Do we need a stop sign at that busy intersection? Why all of the flooding? Why won't they clean the edges of the road? I mean, on and on and on. Take those local issues, bring it to this representative, okay, our precinct chair, and then the county needs to be able to catch those issues and then track them through the governing bodies that can make these decisions to change these things and try to get the speed bump built, the road, widening roads is a very complex process. But there's a lot of things our neighbors need that we could respond to. So that's part one. Part two is I've got to get my Democratic candidates elected. So we've got it's an all hands on deck time now. I keep looking off camera to my good friend. It's one of my candidates, Mr. Mike Midler, that's running. A name you can remember. Mike Midler, a name you can remember. And so he'll be on the November election. And we have other very qualified candidates running this time around. It used to be that the opposing party was able to run unopposed. Those days are ending. Okay, we're going to have competitive, and we're always looking for competitive candidates. So anyway, that's the plan, is to get those candidates elected. And then part three of my plan is to repair the Democratic brand. Right now, Democrats are looked at as, I don't know, three-headed and or something wrong with us or whatever. That is outrageous. Okay, we are at least half the voting public, and I don't, we are our neighbors. We are not, some strangers and so on. And so the brand needs to be repaired. Why are we looked down on? Why are we hated on? Those kinds of things, and we got to solve that problem. So,
for example, we're in the technology age, and we're talking about the younger crowds, the millennials. There are websites, apps where all these precincts can, pour in their information. Tell, hey, look at the app. Hey, right now you might not see a problem, but if you see a problem, please just go online and put it here for your precinct, for each of the 100 precincts you said, 100, and have everybody, distribute that app. For example, is that something you would do?
Absolutely. We're trying to use modern technology to our advantage. We have coming out of a pretty manual, process-driven, methodology, and we believe that.
But we don't want the mistakes that happen in Iowa.
Yeah, for instance, okay. But one of the advantages of my day job, working for Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, is I'm quite plugged into the latest technologies and so on.
Yes.
So one of the things that I've gotten the county to accept and adopt is Office, good old Microsoft Office, right? Office 365.
Yes.
So by moving our stuff to the cloud, it does a lot for us. We can share things easier. We can collect this kind of information.
Right.
So we're in a modernization campaign right now at the county level. The issue is that we don't have all of these good practices in place right now. The current administration has worked very hard, but we need to go to that next step. And I think that's why what we need right now from a county perspective is a bit of technology upgrade, technology modernization, especially if we're going to reach the youth. I love the fact that a lot of my interactions with my fellow Democrats are on Facebook, but when I look at my children, and I have grandchildren, none of them are using Facebook. Okay, so we have got to get to where the voters are and communicate in the way that they are communicating with each other.
Correct.
And we come off these old tools. So, so you've got a brilliant idea of being able to roll up these things and be able to take that feedback online.
Yeah. It's
but
like, just like, for example, we have Waze, right?
Yes.
What do you do, Waze? Hey, there's a cop here. Hey, there's an accident here. And it's ongoing, it's live. And I think if youth and everyone sees a problem, hey, there's a broken fence, there's a ditch, there's a hole, there's
all of the issues that we're facing,
a dead animal here, you go and you just and you text in a few seconds and everybody's participating, and then you channel that to the right authority, and then you ask for reports and you ask for results, you ask for,
and that's the key. So what happens is people will set up a communications mechanism but not follow it through to completion. And the one thing about working in corporate America, and I don't want to play the corporate card too heavy because I know some people say, oh, big business and all that. It does offer a lot of opportunities for folks. But anyway, what we learn in that space is that it's not enough just to capture the issues. You have to have remediation plans. You have to go to the next level. You have to track to completion, and then you have to measure your success. we got 14 issues and only acted on 2 of them. Wait, what about the 12? We got to revisit those, and why can't we bring those forward? Stuff like that. So yeah,
You
it's a
can even
feedback.
see the different proposals or bills or
Right.
anything you're proposing. You can pre-qualify them and see, should we go ahead and propose this bill?
And the other thing you'll see is patterns. You'll see more than one precinct come up with these ideas.
Correct.
Right? So there'll be some folks in precinct 3 or 33, and they'll be saying the same things. That's how you market
And
to
you
to a
correlate,
place.
yes.
Yeah, right. If you see it in 4 places, then that's something to focus on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So prioritization will happen naturally because people care about the same stuff. We all do. So.
So, how does one participate at this moment, the way things are? How does the public participate in helping you get elected as the chair for the Montgomery County
It's actually, we're very
Party,
fortunate in this.
Democratic Party?
Yes, sir. In this particular election, the county chair is picked by the voters of Montgomery County, not by the Democrats, the fanboys, the folks that are there a lot. You know what I mean? It's not like at a convention
Correct.
where you go in and then you elect somebody to be chair
Oh.
out of that convention. It's not done that way in Texas. It's done by the actual voters. So when you go to the polls, even on these primaries, not even the November election, we're talking March 3rd, the primaries. When you go to those polls, you're going to see more Democrats with contested races, right? And so the voter decides who the county chair is, right? And that's why it's so important to reach all of the voters in Montgomery County and not just subsets of groups and special interests and so on. Those people are very important. That's how they get the vote out. But I'm trying right now to speak to every voter in Montgomery County.
So where do you have a website? Do you have an email? How do people communicate with you that want to help you out?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I have all of that stuff. My email, I'll go ahead and give it to you right now because we are taking those issues and trying to prioritize them. It's mcdptxcc@gmail.com. And so it's Montgomery County Democratic Party, Texas, County Chris at gmail.com. So you can reach me obviously by email. Now, what's interesting is you were talking about websites. I currently I'm leading the communications team for Montgomery County Democratic Party, and the website I'm managing is the actual county website. Right, it's the actual website. They are allowing Mark Meyer, their current chair, is allowing me to edit that. I do it with a wonderful gal named Carol Ortiz, and Carol and Chris Powell are the website people right now. We have other folks doing Facebook, Twitter, so we've got a full presence there. So Carol and I are running that website, and so I'm actually trying to live the life of improving that situation.
Yes.
And your direct question is, how do I get in touch with Chris? Well, you go onto our website and write any note whatsoever, and it turns out Chris is reading them and making changes.
I see.
So, yeah, it's kind of an odd way, but yeah, email me.
So, in a nutshell, what makes you better than the other 2 candidates?
Again, the 2 candidates I'm competing with are very qualified, lovely ladies that are working really hard. I think the difference for me personally is that with a 30 years experience of program management, I bring a lot of skills to the job that are required for county chair, which is organization. I know how to run a core team. I know how to run it on a regularly occurring schedule. I know what a conference call is. I know not to be late. I know how to track action items. I need to completion and roll up reports and all that kind of stuff. I've run many, many projects at HPE. Right now I'm a part of a 7-person team that's supporting a rather large bank in France. And we meet daily to talk about the issues, and that's what you got to do in this position. So I do it for a job, and I've been doing it for like over 30 years. You get kind of good at that after a while. So I think I have that a bit of a leg up on the other gals. They just are not working that kind of job. They have a lot of strengths, don't get me wrong. I think all of our candidates are really strong. But I think I've got more experience at running teams.
Yes, and maybe you even do virtual meetings versus having to go all the way.
Skype and Microsoft Teams.
Yes.
Yeah, you live and die by that.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know,
That's
and that's how you get young people involved.
Yes.
Why can't they come in on their phone and attend the call?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then we don't have to spend money. We do it on Skype. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's voice over IP, right?
Correct.
So, you know, people can participate, and that's a great idea. Is Mike, a Skype forum for the county.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see how many people we can break the Skype record.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Uh-huh. So, I guess our time is running out. Would you like to add any comments, any
Well,
proposals, or how?
you know, one of the things that I brought forward, I'm a father here in Montgomery County, and I've got a rather young son. I have a second marriage, so that you know, I had a son, you know, kind of later in life, and he's 11 years old, and not only my son, but all of these children around here. I worry about the way things are going. I think we need to provide opportunity for these kids to compete in a global economy. In my day job, I see these other global countries and what they're doing with their youth, and I feel like sometimes here in the U.S. we could be falling behind if we're not careful, right? So I worry about the No Child Left Behind policy, which is teaching to a test, and I wish we would kind of go back to older curriculum where it was more about, you know, critical thinking and learning. So I think there's some change that has to happen. I also worry about children's security, right? Just security, and I don't think you put, you know, razor wire around schools to protect them. You can't do that, but you can do intelligent things. You know, you can make the building protect itself. The bad guy walks in the front door and you isolate him in a hallway and shut it down.
Yes.
You know, those kinds of things.
Like jewelry stores.
Yeah, like a jewelry store. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be all of this crazy militarization of my children. And I worry, especially in Montgomery County, I wish we were more blessed with more money for everyone. But we've got folks that struggle to make their bills. So maybe you know, food is, you know, maybe not as plentiful as people would like for their families. So the kids should be fed in school. Okay, I don't know why we've gotten away from that. Feed them before they go to school, feed them at lunch, and make sure that they can learn. I mean, a child has to feel safe. He has to be fed, and that's how they pay attention to things, right? And so we need to do that for our children, right? And so I'm afraid that policies that are bantered around sometimes in this area are excluding our children and not going to let them be successful. And we need them as employees in our high-tech companies. And the only way we're going to prepare these folks and these children is by feeding them, keeping them safe, and making sure they graduate. You know, so anyway, I'm kind of passionate on that particular point, but thank you, though.
So how many candidates do we expect? Let's see, already president. How many candidates do we expect for November? Are we going to be competing? Democrats are going to be competing with Republicans?
It's 12 right now
Yes.
on the list. We believe it's about 12. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a lot more than we've run. We've had elections go by in Montgomery County with no opponents. We can't do that anymore. So.
Well, this is the program, Radio the Boss, Elections 2020 program, and it's available for all parties, for the Republican Party, Independents as well. Same time, same
Format?
Same format, correct. And would you, our guest, like to add something, a preview of his...
My off-camera guest is Mike Midler, a name you can remember.
Just remember, early voting starts February 18th. We'll run for about 2 weeks before the March 3rd election, so you can vote early. Not often, but vote early, and make sure you vote. That's the important thing.
This is an election to rehearse the importance of November. If we don't all turn out in November, it's not going to go well. All right.
Are there any events coming up where people can go?
Yeah, we have some excellent events. We're planning for a Cinco de Mayo event at Heritage Park. We're going to try to do live bands on that, and other, you know, entertainment. If you're interested in participating, reach out to the Montgomery County Democratic Party. Our phone number's on the website. Give us a call or email us, and we'll get back with you, because we can use some more volunteers. If you're a band upcoming in this area, we got opportunity for you. So
The website again?
it's mcdptx.org.
mcdp
tx.org.
.org.
Yeah, Montgomery County
Okay.
Democratic Party Texas.org, but of course the acronym.
We have a lot of different musical bands and stuff, and here our general manager, Carlos Mendez, I'm sure he can email them and tell them, you know, about this event.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of very, very nice groups.
There's a lot of talent in this part of Texas.
The talent right here in our county.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have them here live.
May
in
7th.
Connecticut. Yeah.
May 2nd, I'm sorry, yeah. We're going to run the weekend before Cinco de Mayo. The 5th is falls in the middle of the week this year.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Again,
sir.
Chris
Appreciate
Powell,
it, yeah.
running for
Thank you.
county sheriff for the Democratic Party, Montgomery County.
Thank you, team.
Take it away. Bye-bye.